Hello guys, this video is coming a bit later than usual. I usually like posting around 5 o'clock, but I'm recording it at 5 o'clock because I went out last night. So we're doing my Premier League predictions for the rest of the season. We're halfway through the season now, so let's go through the rest of the half of the season. We're going to calculate the games in Game Week 25 again. We're going to go through the results. I actually do think the Spurs-Newcastle games have always been exciting in the past 2 years. Spurs, keeping them exciting. Southampton and Brentford. I think Brentford's run of form is over now. I think Chelsea's run of form is over now. I think Bournemouth are much better than Everton. And Villa beating Leicester. Leicester did that nice little spree under Rude, but it's over now. City coming back onto a bit of form. Arsenal falling off a bit of form, losing to Brighton there. Fulham losing to Ipswich, finding a bit of form, and just honestly, kill me. I'm not looking forward to this weekend. I'm not looking forward to this weekend whatsoever. And I think Forest will beat Wolves. Chelsea to get back on the saddle and beat them there. Brentford though to beat City back in the mud, and then Forest to get the double over Liverpool this year. Everton to beat Villa 1-0. You know, starting to find the goals. Yeah, and another one there for Leicester. Newcastle and Wolves. Yeah, we're going to 3-1 Newcastle. Arsenal to beat Spurs. Ipswich to draw with Brighton. United to beat Southampton. We get a win there. We get. Oh my God, not 90. We get a win. You win some, you lose some in life, and we lose quite a lot right now. Newcastle beating Bournemouth. The good form that they're on right now. West Ham and Crystal Palace. I just see West Ham losing it. You know, man, Lopetegui, we need to jump ship. Lopetegui, we need to go. Mate, the excitement at Brentford Stadium this year, we're keeping it up. We're keeping it up there. 3-1 for Arsenal against Villa. They're throwing away their Villa curse, and you know, United to beat Brighton. Nottingham Forest to beat Southampton. Yeah, no issues there. A nice 1-0 win for Everton against Spurs. Ipswich to get absolutely beaten by City, and then Chelsea to do the beating of Wolves. Game Week 23 now. Ipswich getting beat easy by Liverpool. Wolves trying to upset Arsenal, but Arsenal not having any of it. Yeah, Brighton have a big win over Everton there. Southampton and Newcastle. Newcastle just winning the game. Bournemouth just beating Forest. City and Chelsea drawing 2-2. Crystal Palace to beat Brentford. Yeah, Tottenham took a nice easy game there against Leicester, and then a nice easy game for Villa, and then United to just win their game against Fulham 2-1, just edging the win. Forest beating Brighton, Newcastle beating Fulham. I feel like I've done Fulham quite dirty in this new year, in the second half of the season, but I do feel like they do drop off in that second half of the season. Bournemouth, Liverpool, 3-1 Liverpool. They're just on a rampage right now, aren't they? Ipswich to beat Southampton, and then Wolves to get a win over Villa. United to get some revenge for last year and beating Palace there. Brentford beating Spurs. Arsenal beating City, and then Chelsea to beat West Ham. We get one more game weekend and we'll calculate the table how it's looking. I always feel like Brighton still get the one over Chelsea. I feel like that still happens. Just a 1-0 win there for Arsenal as well, keeping it close. Southampton and Bournemouth to get caught up in a 2-2 draw, and then West Ham Brentford to do the same, get caught in a draw. Villa to beat Ipswich, and then City to, the other win over Eddie Howe. Fulham to beat Forest, and then, no. Exciting game, 3-2 Forest. Crystal Palace to beat Everton. Liverpool to keep up their winning ways, and then Spurs to beat United. No, actually, we're 2-2 because it's been crazy. The games have been crazy between Spurs and United this year. Calculated table, Liverpool are still top by 5 points. The gap is there. Obviously the top 4 is still Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest and Chelsea, but Chelsea are getting left behind a bit. Forest making ground on Chelsea, 7 points ahead of Chelsea with 13 games to go in the season. United have now made their way into the top half, still on negative goal difference, negative 4 goal difference, only on 35 points. Far off getting into the... I mean, only 10 points off getting into the top 4. It's doable, people, it's doable. Southampton still only on 10 points, 25 games into the season. Jesus Christ. And I've given them some results, you know. Wolves still in relegation zone on 19 points. Leicester still in relegation zone on 20 points. Ipswich have found their way out, but some teams can end up finding their way down there. We'll wait and see. Leicester trying to get their way out, beating Brentford. Everton getting beat by United again, twice this season. Yep. Southampton beating Brighton. You know, just one of them where it just doesn't happen for them on the day. And then Ipswich getting a double over Spurs. Fulham to beat Crystal Palace. Arsenal, you know, absolutely smashing West Ham out of the park. Goodbye West Ham. Bournemouth beating Wolves. Villa drawing with Chelsea. Newcastle beating Forest, and then City getting a mega win over that Liverpool team. You know, Pep Guardiola finds his ways, and that is a way Pep Guardiola can find. Brighton beating Bournemouth, Forest beating Arsenal, big result there for Forest. Brentford beating Everton. Wolves trying to get out of that relegation zone, Spurs beating City, back to the winning ways for Spurs there. The West Ham and Leicester will be involved in a massive game there. Crystal Palace beating Villa. Chelsea to beat Southampton. United to beat Ipswich. And Liverpool to have a mega game against Newcastle. We calculate that's his game at 28, and there's 10 games left. There's 10 games left after this game. No, getting beat 3-1 there by Arsenal. Brentford to beat Villa. Wolves to draw Everton. Brighton to beat Fulham. Crystal Palace beating Ipswich. West Ham to get beat by Newcastle. Forest beating City. Liverpool absolutely smashing Southampton out of the park. And then Chelsea beating Leicester 3-1. Calculating the table, still 5-point gap between Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool tearing away with it. 10 games left. Liverpool, there's five points Arsenal to make up on Liverpool. Can they do it? Relegation zone still said the same. United moving up the table now, you know, 41 points now in 8th place. Getting closer to them European spots. I don't know if we'll make it. I don't know if we will. Bournemouth beating Brentford. Arsenal beating Chelsea 2-0. Villa, they've loved to get results over the past few years over the big teams doing really well, and that's where Villa will get a result against Liverpool. Everton beating West Ham as they push further away from the relegation zone. Fulham, it's just a game that Spurs would lose. Ipswich and Forest winning the game. I feel like Leicester and Man United, we will beat Rude, but we will beat you. City beating Brighton, and then Newcastle beating Palace, and then Southampton with a shocking result beating Wolves. Wolves not getting any better whatsoever. Bournemouth to beat Ipswich there. Arsenal beating Fulham as they should be doing. Brighton beating Villa. Forest beating United. Wolves beating West Ham. Chelsea and Tottenham drawing 2-2. City beating Leicester. Newcastle and Brentford, it's going to be a 2-0 Newcastle. Southampton, trying to make their great escape happen, and then Liverpool beating Everton. We'll see how things can change. Villa beating Forest. Brentford drawing with Chelsea. Crystal Palace beating Brighton. Everton Arsenal not falling for the upset. They're still trying to push on. They're still trying to make things happen. Can they still make things happen? United beating City again. Spurs beating Southampton. West Ham beating Bournemouth. We'll calculate again the game at 33 and we'll see what happens in there. 2-2 between Bournemouth and Fulham. Arsenal beating Brentford. Brighton and Leicester. We're going to go with 3-1 Brighton there. Chelsea Ipswich. I feel like it's just a game that Chelsea would win. It was just a game that Chelsea are going to win. Yeah, we go up to the high numbers again for Liverpool there as they absolutely walk over West Ham. And then City beating Palace. You know, finding their winning ways again. Finding their winning ways again. Forest, yeah, beating Everton there. Southampton holding Villa to a 0-0 draw. And then Wolves beating Spurs. We'll see how the table's going to look after this game week here. Brentford beating Brighton. Crystal Palace beating Bournemouth. Everton with a cheeky little win over City. You know, the form never truly comes back. A really exciting game between Chelsea and Fulham there. Arsenal beating Ipswich. Rude trying his best to make that season fall apart for Liverpool. Spurs drawing with Forest, and then West Ham beating Everton. Southampton nice and comfortably. Calculated gate table with 5 games left. Liverpool and Arsenal are now level on points, people. Obviously Liverpool storming away with a bit more on goal difference right now, so it's still to fight for. But you know what, Forest only 7 points off of the top of the table. You know, it's still possible for Forest to jump up there. Chelsea still in that top half, but Newcastle have equalled them on points now. They've found their way up. United now in 7th place on 50 points. You know, still a negative goal difference, still not looking good for them. And the bottom 3 is still Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton. Southampton have made a few more points, but it's still a lot to fight for down there. Still a lot can change down there, and you know, we still expect to see a lot to change down there in these final 5 games. We'll calculate again game week 35, and we'll see how we're going. Bournemouth beating United. Arsenal beating Crystal Palace, getting the wins where they need to get the wins. Brighton beating West Ham. Chelsea beating Everton. Liverpool in a massive game against Spurs there. City beating Villa. Newcastle beating Ipswich. You know, everyone's got a lot to push for. Southampton still got a lot to push for. Still pushing a lot. Wolves, massive win that for Wolves. Massive win that is. Villa beating Fulham there. You know, you're not getting just beat. You're just getting beat. That's what we do apparently. Chelsea with a massive win against Liverpool to help Arsenal out, because they love helping Arsenal out. They love it. They just love it. They love it. Everton beating Ipswich. Leicester beating Southampton. City then beating Wolves. Actually no, City drawing with Wolves. Because Wolves, they're fighting. And then West Ham, they just love a winning against Spurs, and you get that winning against Spurs will calculate the table. Arsenal now move top of the table by 3 points. Do you know what we'll do? I reckon we'll change this one. We will change this one to a 3-1 Liverpool, and we'll calculate it. Arsenal now top by only 1 point. Liverpool second on 80 points. You know, Forest have fell off a bit now, 10 points behind the pack. Chelsea still up there. You know, they've made a 3-point gap now between them. United back down into 10th place. They've dropped them. Them results have not done them well. The goal difference has taken a hit. 15 wins, 15 losses is not great whatsoever. Leicester, you know, and Ipswich still in the relegation zone. The relegation zone is still the 3 teams that got promoted, but things can change. There's 3 games left of the season, you know, and you know, Fulham, up to Fulham could still get relegated. Spurs are safe now though. Spurs are safe. Bournemouth beating Villa, Fulham beating Everton, Fulham making sure they're safe. Ipswich though beating Brentford and trying to make their safety happen. 2-2 in that game. That's a big title game. That is a big title game. United beating West Ham, Newcastle beating Chelsea. Oh, that is an interesting one, because that's going to help Newcastle out a lot. That is in their fight. Southampton getting beat by City. It's just what's going to happen in it. And then Spurs, you know, ensuring their safety as Wolves also beat Brighton. Arsenal, you know, trying to keep up the good vibes going for themselves. Villa beating Spurs. Brentford beating Fulham. Not good for Fulham, that is. Brighton. Hurts a lot. Ruining the end of the season for them there. Chelsea and United drawing 2-2. Crystal Palace beating Wolves 3-1. Everton beating Southampton, trying to make their safety happen. Ipswich beating Leicester. City beating Bournemouth, yep. And then West Ham beating Forest. I think Forest have their place like guaranteed now, don't they, basically, if you calculate the table? Yeah. Forest in the Champions League football, 74 points, despite losing to West Ham there. you know, relegation. Or Leicester and Southampton are now guaranteed relegation. Final day, Ipswich and Wolves fighting to stay up. Ipswich need to win their game. Wolves, all they need is a draw. All they need is a draw at Wolves. 59 goals, you know, you're not seeing many teams like that, you know, look at Tottenham down here on a positive 15 goal difference, but only 45 points to get some goals, but not in the right places. 18 losses they've got. One more and they'll be happy for the season. United on 15 losses, a negative goal difference, could still drop down to 10th place, which would be a really poor season. We'll wait and see what happens on the final day. Bournemouth beating Leicester, confirming Leicester's disposal in the Premier League. Fulham beating City on the final day. Not very like City at all. Ipswich winning their game like they must do. Liverpool winning their game against Crystal Palace. United losing their game to Villa. Newcastle beating Everton. Forest beating Chelsea. Southampton drawing 0-0 with Arsenal. Spurs beating Brighton. And then Wolves getting beat by Brentford. We'll calculate the table. Arsenal win the league by 2 points. Liverpool finished second. Nottingham Forest down in third. You know, they put the fight only 9 points off top of the table by the end of the season. That's not bad from Forest at all. Newcastle find their way into the Champions League spots on the final day of the season as well. Chelsea only getting Europa League. That title race was not a title race. They were correct. They were 19 points off the top of the table. City finishing 6th despite having a really terrible time. But do you know what I reckon? I reckon the FFP charges come in. Wolves do stay up. Leicester, Southampton and Manchester City get relegated as City get minus 80 points. Meaning Brighton do get a Europa League spot, meaning Bournemouth do get a Conference League spot, meaning, you know, if English teams do well, it's actually Chelsea do get Champions League, Brighton get Europa League, Bournemouth get Europa League, and Villa will be getting in the Conference League, and United will be getting nothing for finishing 10th unless we win the FA Cup. Brentford finishing 11th with, you know, a mighty season there for them, 51 points. Crystal Palace on 50 points. Spurs only on 48 points. I've probably done Spurs a bit dirty, but Spurs still won 14 games throughout the season. They just couldn't do anything with it. Fulham there on 43 and, you know, 11 wins. Everton finishing 40 points. It's a nice bit of safety. It's what Sean Dyche does, is get you safe there. West Ham on 38 points. Ipswich Town surviving. And as I said, I think Wolves will survive on that 36 points because Man City, they're going to end up minus 17 with only 63 points there. And that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I do thank you for watching. Like the video, see if you like. Let me know what you think of the table. These are predictions. Let me know like what you think, how you think the table is going to finish by the end of the season. Obviously, you got Liverpool losing quite a few more games in the second half of the season, but I think they've had the nicer games in the first half. But we'll wait and see how it is towards the end of the season. I'll probably do another one of these around, when will I do it? Around Give Me 28, when it's 10 games after the season. We'll do a run-in one of these. But that's going to be the end of the video now, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like. We'll see more, subscribe, because more channel every single day. Hopefully I set time usually, because obviously, you know, that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get better at it. Guys. Thank you for watching, guys, and hopefully I do catch you next time. Cheers.